And that has become the symbol that we use in our movement, because every movement needs a symbol. So we've chosen this symbol, the dandelion. Today we wanted to have an inclusive conversation about generations, intergenerational dialogue. So it's such a gift to be speaking to you. This is my second time visiting this wonderful country, Kenya. It's incredible to imagine that it's only my second time, because there are some countries that I've gone to so many times, and Kenya, I don't count the time I flew through Kenya and I spent a night on the way to Zimbabwe because my brother was marrying a woman from Zimbabwe. So we flew through Kenya. That doesn't count because the night doesn't matter. But I came in May also because of Project Dandelion. And it's wonderful to be speaking about the issue of climate change here, because this is a country that is largely powered by renewable energy. I think I read that about 80% of the power source, energy source for Kenya is renewable. So it's a country that's actually walking the talk and showing the way for the other African countries. But the conversation we wanted to have today is not about energy, it's about intergenerational dialogue. We want to have especially a dialogue to listen to the voices of young people, because Africa, when all is said and done, is a young continent. In fact, by the turn of the century, 50% of the world's young people will be from Africa. 50%. So this is the part of the world that is reproducing and giving the world young people. And yet, it's not necessarily listening enough to the voices of young people. And I'm hoping that we already had a session on Saturday at the Youth Assembly to hear the voices of young people. And we want to build on that with this session. And also to hear the voices of elders. So if you are like me, I mean, I celebrated my 49th birthday 2 weeks ago. So if you're as old as I am, or even older, better, then please, we want to have your voices in this conversation. I want us to begin really with the voice of the youngest person in the room, a young girl that has come to join us and is here. She's willing to share with us her vision for climate, for Kenya, for Africa, and perhaps for the world. She came accompanied by her mother, who was making sure to make sure our dress is, our skirt is on correctly. You know how mothers are. So Mama Karen, welcome, and thank you for bringing your little girl. So Karen, may I ask you to come up and share with us some of your thoughts? Please, can you give her the warmest round of applause?
Hi everyone. Morning. How are you doing? It's a pleasure for me to be in this room with all of you, and I hope that you enjoy everything that is happening now. And what I'm going to say, I am the voice of the children. I school at Field Junior School, where I am the Cabinet Secretary of Environment, and I advise people in my school that I advise them to keep on planting trees, and also I mentor children. I am the voice of children. I advocate for children. And we, the children, are the one who are going to stay more in our Mother Earth. So please, let's take action and plant more trees. A lot of leaders are having a lot of meetings, and what they forget is all about the action that is need to be done. Now, what I want to say, we stop talking and we focus on the action, because the talking won't help us anywhere. So I, as a mentor, I mentor kids on how they should plant trees, and also I advise them that we, the children, are the most important one, and the adult population, you guys ruin our future, because our future is the only thing that we have. And if you adult, if the way you've destroyed it, it is not well. We, the children, are suffering, and you guys, you forget the children. Like, some of you, like, you organize a lot of meetings, and what you forget is the action done. Thank you.
No, Karen, please, why don't you take a seat in the middle over there? Thank you. And can we have another round of applause for Karen? Thank you so much, Karen, for that call to action. You're right that it's your future, and we're squandering it with our lack of action, and we need to take more action. I'd like to also invite onto the podium, onto the stage, Alphonse, who organized the youth assembly that held on Saturday, and is one of the youth leaders here in Kenya. Alphonse, could you please come up? And so he will also speak.
Thank you so much. I feel like I shouldn't speak after the great speech that Karen gave, because it will sound like, do they call it balderdash or something? So thank you. It's really nice to have this cross-cutting conversation, like having people across many generations. I think sometimes we are having such an event with the former and retired ambassadors from Kenya, and someone said this convening brings together 700 years of experience, because you'll find that we have people who have been in the foreign service for many years, and then we have junior officers coming in, and there's great connection that needs to be there. So I'm here to bring forward the outcome of intergenerational dialogue that we managed to host as a session in the Youth Assembly that concluded on Sunday. And part of the things that we were pushing for, even in the crafting of the declaration, is to build up on intergenerational responsibility as a center stone of sound policy making. It has to be that way. In the African context, this has not been a topic that has been given the prominence it deserves, and I really appreciate the elders team for bringing it here and ensuring that we can domesticate it and tailor it to fit within the context of the African continent. We know culturally, traditionally, there's been kind of a huge rift between people of the other generation and children, maybe youth, so that we were having a conversation yesterday with Her Excellency Gracia Machel. I was telling her, you know, the way as Africans, most of us, like we are brought up, is when maybe an elder is seated there, I should not even speaking, but even coughing, right? So, I mean, things have changed a bit, and now young people, children, have a lot to bring to the table. We have a lot to learn from each other. We have to ensure that every person's opinions, ideas, every branch of wisdom and knowledge, every age is, like, taken into account when we are trying to make any decision. Because now, as we speak, the median age of a world leader is 62 years old. And that is the median age of a world leader today. But the decisions that these people are taking, do they think some of the decisions will be even implementable in their lifetime? Most probably not, right? The people who will bear the brunt, or rather, who will live the consequences of the decisions that are taken by these leaders that we have today, are ourselves. Actually, we are going to bear, the biggest, like, chunk of burden of these decisions. People like Karen here, even generations that are yet to come. So how can we ensure that in every decision that is taken, every age is represented? Because we say there's nothing for us without us. So if you put some people there, some old people, they start talking about some things for young people. I mean, that's not for young people, to be honest. We are not trying to bash the older people. We respect our parents. our grandparents, and that generation. But young people also need to be respected, not just because of them being young. And you'll also agree with me that, for me, I don't agree that women need to be included on their, on the basis of just being women. No, we need to include, to be inclusive from the point of view that these people are bringing equal fair share of the value that is needed to ensure that we leapfrog this continent to sustainable development. So on Saturday we had aligned a panel comprising of people who have been at the helm of making decisions, people who are influencing policies, young people who are even negotiating on behalf of their countries, children, children representatives. So it was quite a balanced panel, having the former Minister of Environment here in Kenya, the economic advisor of the President of Somalia. That is a person who is really at the front line of influencing policy. We had on the panel Yare Dabera from Ethiopia, who is also like a negotiator. He's a young person, yes. He's a negotiator for his country in climate discussions. He is also leading an organization, and he also works with World Resources Institute. So you see, this is a person who is an expert in his own right, and who is trying to champion for youth inclusion from all the fronts. This is a person who is representing his country position. We had a lady from Cameroon who is really championing for women inclusion as well in these topics. And she spoke very passionate about how young people need to be included. We are not here to fight each other. Well, there's been growing resentment between the young people, the children, and the older generation. So how can we ensure that we bridge this gap, we coexist? It's going to happen when there's apology with contrition from the generation that is, on the other side. Because we are here, these children have not contributed anything to a lot of mess that we are in today. These young people have contributed very little, if any, to whatever we are in right now. So where the discussion needs to start from is a justice point of perspective, whereby the generation that has got us here, that has made some mistakes, but then it's also a generation that has experience. It is a generation that knows when you do this, probably you'll not end up well, It's a generation that has huge proximity to resources and networks. So how can we ensure that we balance these aspects and coexist, strengthen the multilateral system, give it a chance to work again? Because we've seen like it's very slow moving process. Discussions that began early 90s, we are yet to achieve, there's a lot of form in the whole thing. There's no substance, to be honest. So how can we ensure that we capitalize on the substance? We ensure that the multilateral system ceases to be a very slow moving process. And this is going to happen when we bring the youth on board. Yesterday I spent almost the whole day with the former Minister of Environment, and we were having so many discussions. He would tell people, these people are taking me with such a speed. They forget that I'm a bit older now. But the thing is that we have so many innovations. We have so many solutions. We have bright minds in the continent of Africa. These people just need support. They need connection to people who can scale up their initiatives. Karen is planting so many trees. At her age, she'll tell you, if you ask her. She has planted probably more than anybody in this room. At her age, So how can we ensure that young people, children doing some amazing works, get the podiums to talk about what they're doing? They get the requisite connections. They get the funding they need. They get scholarships out there. They get trainings and incubation programs to also kind of remove this mental model that we are only here to complain. Young people are only here to cause trouble and stubbornness. But we are here to work together and achieve this resilient planet that we all need to see. Thank you.
Alphonse, please sit down. Also, sit beside Karen, please, if you don't mind. So now we come to the part of the conversation that includes you. And may I trouble you to come forward so that we can have, since we're not so very many, we can have an intimate conversation. If you don't mind standing up slowly, you can just stand up and come. There are empty seats here that look like they're perfect for you. Please come. Madam, you're running away. Please don't. Okay, nobody else should move towards the end exit. Please just, I'm saying come forward towards the front of the room so that we can be together, please, so that we can have a conversation. Because, and we're going to use cards, but because we're not that many, we can also use mics and listen to your voices as well, so that we can really, oh, madam, you're back. Please, madam, come forward, forward. Thank you, madam, please. You see, there's a chair here that says reserved. That one is specially for you. That's your chair, ma'am. She's from Kenya. They're very humble, that's why. Because the reserved chair, VIP, is for you. Thank you so much for all you guys that came forward. The ones that stayed behind, I'm going to come specially for you to make sure we include you in this conversation. So, we've listened to Alphonse, and he's shared with us very important points. He said, the African culture, which we all know, and we don't want to generalize about Africa, but in general, when we see elders, the training is that we don't talk too much, we show respect, we defer to elders. But in this climate crisis now, as he said to us, young people, children even, have so much energy. They can inspire us, they can motivate us. I mean, listening to the fact that Karen has planted a lot of trees, I have to confess, I haven't even planted one tree. So I already know Karen is ahead of me. And now I must be thinking, okay, how do I start planting trees so I can catch up to Karen? And that's the joy of young people. That, yes, so each of you have this card. We want to use the card so that when you hear a point that resonates with you, you lift the card like this. So we know that it's not just the speaker that it resonates with, but with a larger audience. And so we're going to start looking at a couple of questions. And I'm going to ask Alphonse also to help to maybe take the mic or invite people. As you see their hands go up, if they have even when I ask a question, if you have something to contribute to the question, use the card as well. No, my friend. The card is not for your pocket. Oh, okay, you have two cards, okay. So you can put one away. The other one, we are going to use it to show us so that Alphonse can come to you. So the first question is, do you believe that, okay, so it starts with the context. We cannot make progress unless we first understand where we're starting from. So I would like to ask you, the audience and the panelists, if you believe that the different generations are being heard in climate decision making. Actually, Alphonse spoke about that, and he said no, not enough in Africa. Probably also, I don't know what you think about globally, if you think it's been heard. Now, and he shared with us a message from the Youth Summit. But let's look specifically at youth inclusion. What can governments be doing to ensure that young voices are heard in these multilateral processes? How can your young voices be heard in a way that is not just about putting one young person like an actor in a play and not giving that young person any lines, like tokenism? How can we make sure we know that young people have energy, they have ideas, they have solutions, they can galvanize these processes, and that these processes, when they've been led by older people, they're hindered by tradition, establishment. Young people don't really have much respect for those things. They'll push and push until we make progress, so we need them to be involved. So young people that are here, I see most of you here are young people. And even older people, you might have some insight. How can we get your voices impacting the process for change. If you have ideas, please lift this card. Something has been bothering you, something has been on your mind. You've thought, if only we could do this or we could do that. What is it? What can you share with us? Please, Alphonse, how can we get... Yes, there's a mic over there. What's your name? Naomi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. What I'd like to maybe pass to you guys as a topic of discussion is something I was introduced to yesterday.
Yes.
By one of the exhibitors of the exhibition tents. They said that the biggest issue with now the climate action and youth in climate action is that there's a very big disparity between what the older generation knows, academia, and what we the youth are actually doing on the ground. So there's this very big gap. We find that most of the ministers have masters or PhDs. Now it's something I understood quite differently. The higher levels in education you take in, the fewer the climate solutions you are susceptible to. Like for example, there's a time pyrolysis was a very big no-go zone within Africa. But now many African companies are actually getting into pyrolysis. This is because their generation in academia were like, no, there's too much pollutants, the tunnel-mindedness, the higher you go up in education. So maybe can we have a system whereby, as much as yes, academia is important in the climate crisis, can we also let the people who are actually doing innovations at the ground level, without necessarily having academic backing, can they be empowered as well?
What's your name?
Robin Kariuki.
That's an excellent suggestion. Thank you, Robin. Excellent suggestion. More suggestions. Those, wow, that lady, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Edna, and for me, what I can say is that the issue of climate action is almost new as a conversation in Africa, because today you are a youth, tomorrow you are not. And you'll find yourself that when you are a youth, you never spoke about it. So what is it that you're going to pass to the next generation if you yourself have no knowledge, you have no, you have no background? And I want to echo what Robin has said. Climate action has been taken over mostly into formality than our normal lives. And I can say that's where the gap is, because climate is our life. In the farms, in the towns, everywhere. We live together and because of the climate. And the climate also behaves the way it does because of our daily lives. But have we really internalized it as such, or we are looking at it in terms of what the books say, what researchers are saying, and even if they are saying that and disseminating information, how do we make this information our normal life conversations? When you're farming, like right now we have a lot of crop failure in Kenya, because as farmers I am a farmer, so I understand. You go to the farm and do the normal, but you're not doing it with the thought of how is the climate behaving in these times, because it is not, we have not normalized it.
Yes.
So for me, I'm not really seeing the generational divides. I'm actually seeing a gap for all of us.
Yes.
Yes, as communities, mostly in Africa, let's speak as Africans, I'm seeing a gap in our daily lives in relation to climate, not just climate change, but climate as usual. And there is also the issue of where we've come from a traditional background to now the mix of academics and flow of information and technology from other places. But we are forgetting that even our ancestors used to deal with climate, used to deal with the weather. Where is that knowledge? Where did we take that knowledge, and how are we going to integrate it with what we are doing right now? I just find that we are scrambling all over the place with no concrete direction, no concrete knowledge, no concrete information as a society. So for me, I'm not looking at how the youth will be. I was a youth just the other day. I'm no longer. I already crossed the line.
Yes.
And I have nothing to offer because I wasn't also given anything concrete. So Yeah.
Edna, you know, I just don't know what to say. I think you made so many critical points. The point about, you know, the ones that they call scientists, how are they different from our own indigenous elders who knew certain things about how to take care of the environment, and who, because they didn't have a Western education, we didn't listen to them. And many of them are dying. And actually, the studies have shown that in the community, in the lands that are taken care of with indigenous practices, they contain 80% of the remaining biodiversity on the planet, which means that they are the greatest scientists, these women and men. But we didn't listen to them because they don't speak English, French, Portuguese, Spanish. Shame on us, you know. So yes, there's an issue of intergenerational dialogue, but there's also an issue of reclaiming our own culture, reclaiming our own history. If we say Black Lives Matter, then Black history matters, Black culture matters, what our people know matters. We should go back. If we're so educated, part of the education should be to codify the knowledge of our own people, because it might give us some things that we can use to face this crisis. You know, and your point, I think, should not be missed, that you didn't learn about this climate issue when you were younger. Just like you, I was a youth, and now look, 49. The time is like that. It just, you are doing this, you are still playing, young, but youth. Very soon I will be 80 with my grandchildren. And it will happen just like that. But I want to ask you, Karen, how did you get started on this? You know, because maybe already whatever it was done at your school, we have to make sure that every school in Africa is doing that. Every place where young people and children are there, have a way to teach them about environment. How did your school come up with this club for environment that you're the chair of? There's a mic over there. Yes.
First of all, when I joined the school, when I was a newcomer, I told the head teacher that I want this school because there was no, when I first joined the school, there was no environmental club. So I went to the head teacher's office and I told him that I want this school to have an environmental club. And the head teacher agreed, and I told him what we are going to be doing, and I said that if people want to be enrolled in the environmental club, they sign up, because we are going to be doing inter-school tree planting, doing cleanups.
Please, can we give this young lady another round of applause? So brave, and she took a bold step forward. I know it would have been with support from Mama Karen and Jerry that is sitting here. Can you tell us how you supported your daughter in taking that step? Please, Naomi, can you bring the mic to the mom?
Hi everyone. My name is Anjeri, mother to Karen Wanjiro. It's not easy to have a brilliant lady like her with a lot of talent, willing to do a lot without any support from the government, without support from no one. It's me as a parent. So we need to do something. Readers need to do something. We need more Karen. We are willing to have, our vision is to have a children representative in every county. We call it county in our country. In every county we want a representative. I need to see more Karen. I need to see more children doing what she's doing. But you can find a child wants to do what she's doing, but because the parent don't have that support, the dream is dead. We don't want to kill their dreams. We want to nurture them. So leaders, and if there is any reader here, please take note. We as a parent, we are not happy, but we are trying our best. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam Njeri. I've come to the last question, and it's going to involve everybody in this room. We have 15 minutes left, and I think we have about 20. Can you tell me roughly what the number we have. So maybe we can give each person like 40 seconds. Every one of you, what do you want to see in that will come out from this Africa Climate Summit? We have 30, so that means each of you has 30 seconds. Okay, where's Naomi? Naomi, it's good that you look sporty. You're going to need it. Let's start from the back. The beautiful lady in a black shirt. So we're going to come out of this session. What is one thing you would ask the leaders at this Africa Climate Summit to include in the declaration that you think would allow us to ensure that we're optimizing what Africa has, which is Africa's people, especially our young people, and our cultural heritage? What do you think we should include? She's going to share it on the elders website that has, what's your audience of that website? Okay, so Africa, this is your moment. You've been wanting to get your voice to the world. Now, there's no pressure on you, my sister that is going to start. We have stand up. Stand up and show you are here. Let's see. Oh yeah, go.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. I'm Wekesa Kenis. I come from library, and I come here to learn because I like my young people. I'm past because I'm 36 now. I'm past that age, and I'm going to encourage my kids because I have young guys. I have two boys. One is 15 now in Form 2, and I have not done nothing. I'm very happy for Sharon. I feel like to be a mother, and I'm going to implement and also support also other youths in your community, and also I will encourage my kids at least to do something before they reach into my age. Thank you so much for that. I'm encouraged and I'm very happy for that.
Thank you so much. Please pass it to the next guy. Oh yeah, that guy. Oga, please stand up now. Stand up. Let's hear your voice. What is the message? What do you want in the declaration?
I would wish the young kids grow knowing that we have other alternative sources of energy. Everybody grows up knowing about electricity, but nobody is talking about renewable energy. Africa has a great potential in terms of renewable energy. So let's let them grow knowing that we have other sources of energy. Africa is a big place. We have a lot of sunlight, and we want these products to be cheap in Africa as well. Let's make them affordable for each and every family to afford.
Thank you. Next person, the guy beside you with the sunglasses. Oh yeah, Oga, on your feet.
Just got here.
Ah.
Quick. But I think one thing I would say is I've heard this very profound statement about how we keep saying the youth are the future, the youth are the future, but what we should be saying is the youth are the current.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you so much. Pass to the man with the suit. At the cusp.
At the edge of the first so my name is Later Brand. I'm in the state industry. So for me, what I would say is that they need to embrace politically local construction materials.
Excellent.
For the future generation.
Excellent.
6-year-old and they can start nurturing towards where they are going is.
Wonderful. What about your partner? Excellent. Give it to your guy in front of you. Yes. Okay. We're
older people who find it easy even to push for policies and action.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Munarusi Mwafrika and I work for a blue carbon project in the south coast of Kenya. I would emphasize on what my colleague has just said, that the government, maybe to include in the declaration, an emphasis on the inclusion of environment, also maybe climate change aspects into the syllabus, whereby people can learn it from a very young age. And secondly, also to provide an opportunity desk where bankable projects can be supported and implemented. Thanks.
Thank you very much. To the mind and the yes. Edna, I'm not going to let you speak because you spoke earlier, but yes, you please stand. Then we jump past Edna. Edna, I hope you don't mind. I'm afraid that they're going to kick us out before everyone has had a chance, please.
Yeah, my name is Constantine Edward from Tanzania. Actually, what I would like to see achieved from this summit, so one is that I would like to see an adoption to green energy to at least about 95%. You say Kenya doing 85%, that's good, but the other countries are doing lower than that.
Yes.
So the second that I would like to see more energy, more knowledge toward climate finance and carbon credit so that youth can tap into that potential.
Excellent. Edna, actually, because Laura didn't capture your comments before, so we need to hear you again. I'm sorry. Please stand again.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to be very brief. So to sum up my points, I'll say that let's not leave any single person behind, and let's make climate action our everyday life.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is have advocates for climate, and I think it should also be included as a syllabus, as a topic in school, so that kids can learn from very tender age.
Excellent. Advocate is excellent. Please, can you, yes, that lady already has a mic. Oh, thank you.
So hi guys, my name is Christina Mololo from Natural State Research Center, and these guys are just talking there inside there, and talk is cheap. They can talk all day, but when it comes to implementation, nothing is being done. And if something is being done, it's like 1%. Not all of us are benefiting as youths, and it's such a pinch to us because we are here, we are attending it, but we are being denied access there, and we can't just sit there and hear them talk and not doing anything.
Thank you so much. Please, can you pass to your
I have one natural state, and my suggestion would be that there should be an African climate summit.
Excellent. Thank you. Jump ahead to the guy in the suit. Then we'll cross over again.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Moses Ishuo. I work for an organization called One Campaign Awards Daily. I will delve much into what we do. I want to read this so I can be succinct. I think one of the things that needs to be an outcome in this is addressing unfair and unaffordable debt and increasing the availability of cheap finance. Get this because this is important and necessary because the world's middle-income countries spend an additional $74 billion more on new bonds issued in 2021 than they would have if they would have borrowed from World Bank instead. We're talking about a financial reform. What are some of the four things that I want to see? We want to see the toppling is one. We want to see bolder investments by the World Bank and multilateral agencies. We want to see an increase in MPP's lending capacities. We want to commit to tripling lending from the World Bank IDA. And lastly, we must implement the G20 independent expert group recommendation and say it is good for us, it is good for Africa, it is good for climate change.
Excellent. Thank you very much. No, to your partner. We shouldn't forget him. Augustin.
Hi everyone. I am Jit. I'm definitely an adult when it comes to that threshold. It is so. I did not expect to be here, but this was a fantastic session to be part of. I think what I want to see from the leaders today is an acknowledgement that we're stealing the children's future by not taking action and by addressing this. And I think the one comment I'll States, my country is the cause of climate change. Right? Developed countries are the cause. And for the first time, I saw the voice of the youth breaking through to my communities in the U.S. I saw youth African voices being tweeted, being retweeted. So please urge your colleagues to continue that movement. That those voices need to be even stronger.
Thank you. Please jump to the guy in front. So we finish with this group and then we move to this one. Just please, Oga, give us 5 more minutes. 5, 2. Oh yeah, please, quickly.
Okay. So my name is Jodai Bazaba. I'm one of the youth delegates here representing Ethiopia. I just wanted to add in that not only the burden falls to the older generation, it also falls on the youth, that we need to capacitate ourselves, we need to strengthen our knowledge base so that we could also be in those spaces to fight for our cause, which is climate change.
Excellent. Jump to this lady. Okay. Mama, please, your thoughts. I love that. Madam, that you will try to run away, please. Let's hear your voice.
Africa has many resources, rich in resources, and we are on the surface of the earth, yes, average age of 18, and in the skies, yes, a lot of resources. The message to the leaders is, can we manage these resources in a manner that makes sense for the next generation?
Amen. Thank you, Mama Lucy. Thank you, Mama Jerry. You are such a blessing. I think you didn't speak yet. Oh yeah, please, up with the sunglasses and yeah, tell us what you have to say. Hello. Hi. In Nigeria, if you say hello, they'll say hi. The auntie. Are you Karen's auntie? Oh, okay. No, okay. Okay. Excellent, excellent. Of course. We need to wrap up. Okay, please, okay, just a few words, like 10 seconds. God bless you.
We have a lot of brokers in between. They can be rates and different news. Yesterday at Savo Hall, we listened to Germany representative. We also listened to Denmark representative. And their cry was, yes, we want to fund you, but we are getting a lot of funds getting lost in between. Kindly, would you ask the funders, the grant givers, come meet us, those who are working directly on the ground. Do not send us to your brokers or to your agents. And we are going to do this in a big way. You'll see the difference. You'll see how much the youth can do for this country, for Africa, and the whole world in general. Please come to us. We'll work with you. Thank you.
Please, there's 4 people. There's no time. There's another. Hi, quickly, quickly.
I'm an environmental journalist and founder of Climate Landscapes. Well, what I can say is that you mentioned gaps, but I believe the gaps are because of communication. So anytime we have these forums and meetings, we need to bring journalists with us who will inform the people about what is going on, what is being discussed.
thank you. You, please, you're the last voice. Quickly, please, look at this.
Okay, there is need for accountability mechanisms as well as
You guys, I'm sorry, the last two people cannot speak, but thank you for this excellent session. Intergenerational dialogue is good because we have to come together. If we're united, we can fight any battle. Africa has been divided for too long. Intergenerational dialogue, intercontinental dialogue, intercultural dialogue, interclass dialogue, interglobal dialogue, every kind of dialogue we need. We shouldn't be fighting each other, essentially should be the take home. We need to work because at the end of the day, we're accountable to gentle children who have done nothing to deserve this crisis. So it's all on us. It's all on us, and each one of us has to live with our own conscience. So for the women in the room, please talk to me about Project Dandelion. Join us. The final thing I wanted to say is that, you know, when there's a movement, the change will come quickly, and we will leave this change for future generations. This will be the time when Africa leaves a gift for the whole world. You know, many times as Africans, we felt like the world has left us behind, but with all the renewable energy sources in Africa, with the dynamic young people in Africa, we can power a climate-safe world. And then the world, we gave humanity, we were the birthplace of humanity. We can give humanity the new lease of life. So let's work together as Africans and join hands with our brothers globally and make the world climate safe. Thank you. Everybody, can you please guess how many trees Karen has planted? Who can guess how many she has planted? Who is saying? 10,000 trees. She has... It's just incredible. Please, standing ovation. What will people stand on your feet? On your feet. Well...